Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're jumping into the recent NATO summit held in The Hague. There's a lot going on there, and our goal really is to sift through the key sources you've shared with us, distill the crucial insights, and basically give you a shortcut to being properly informed about this really pivotal event. Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. This wasn't just, another summit. It was actually pretty historic, the first time the Netherlands has ever hosted one, which I think really highlights the country's growing role in international security. And The Hague, well, it's already known as a major center for diplomacy, right?
Absolutely. And you've got that extra layer with Mark Rutte, the former Dutch PM, stepping in as the new NATO Secretary General. His leadership, right off the bat, navigating these tricky global issues. That's definitely something to watch.
Yeah, interesting dynamic there.
And what was really striking was how quickly the conversation turned to money, specifically defense spending. There's this very ambitious proposal on the table, member states aiming for 5% of their GDP.
5%. Wow.
Yeah, and it's broken down like 3.5% for what we call core defense, and then 1.5% for related things, infrastructure, cybersecurity. It's a huge leap, honestly, from that previous 2% target everyone talked about.
Yeah.
Shows a real sense of urgency, maybe.
Okay, 5% is a big ask. How did that land? Was everyone just on board?
Well, no, not exactly. The reactions were pretty mixed across the board. Some countries seemed ready to commit, but others, like Spain, for instance, they pumped the brakes a bit.
Okay. Why? Economic reasons.
Mostly, yeah, citing domestic economic constraints. And if you sort of zoom out, it really shows this fundamental tension, doesn't it? Balancing, national budgets and immediate concerns against these longer-term collective security goals. It's more than just numbers.
Right, it's a deeper pull between priorities. And then almost overshadowing things, you had the whole Iran factor emerge, those recent U.S. airstrikes on Iranian nuclear facilities. That clearly raised the temperature.
Oh, definitely. It shifted the focus significantly. Suddenly, discussions about Iran's actions and what NATO's stance should be became, well, unavoidable. Critical, even.
Does that put a strain on unity within NATO? I mean, how do you get everyone on the same page with something that sensitive?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It really could test the alliance's cohesion. Different members have different perspectives, different national interests when it comes to handling Iran. So, yeah, it's a very delicate balancing act.
Okay. Let's shift focus slightly to Ukraine. President Zelensky was there, which is significant in itself. But interestingly, he wasn't in all the sessions. What's the thinking there?
It seems like a very calculated, nuanced approach. NATO clearly wants to show strong support, provide real help.
Which they did, right. There was a concrete aid pledge.
Exactly. A pledge of $35 billion in military aid for 2025. That's substantial. It underlines their commitment. But at the same time, they're trying very hard to avoid anything that looks like direct confrontation or escalation with Russia. So Zelensky's presence was managed carefully.
Got it. Support, but with careful boundaries. Now, outside the conference rooms, there was another story playing out the protests.
Yes, quite widespread protests in The Hague. People were demonstrating against the proposed hikes in defense spending and also expressing anxiety about potential new conflicts, especially with Iran.
So public pushback on the direction things might be heading.
Pretty much. Deep concern over where all this military spending leads, the risk of getting drawn into more conflicts, people advocating for peace, for caution.
And how did the authorities handle that? It's always a tricky balance during these big summits.
The Dutch government rolled out significant security. Operation Orange Shield, they called it. Thousands of officers involved, very coordinated. The aim was ensuring the summit ran smoothly, obviously, but also respecting the right to protest. It created this visible contrast, the high-level talks inside and the public voicing concerns outside.
So wrapping this all up, what are the big takeaways here? What does this all mean?
Well, I think it clearly shows NATO trying hard to adapt to what they see as new threats, a changing world. But it also really throws into sharp relief those ongoing challenges of keeping, 30-plus diverse members united. Everyone has their own pressures, their own politics.
Right, that constant balancing act.
Exactly. Balancing robust defense, which they clearly see as necessary, with smart diplomacy and finding peaceful solutions. It's never easy.
Definitely not. So maybe a final thought for you listening in. As you think about all this, consider how that core tension between individual national economic realities and the collective security aims of an alliance like NATO, how is that going to keep shaping international relations? It feels like a dynamic that's not going away anytime soon, something to keep watching. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. Keep that curiosity going, and we'll talk to you next time.